Students, in this lecture, we shall discuss about an experiment which proves the electrons exhibit the wave nature first time. This experiment was performed by two American physicists, J. Davison and L. H. Jarmar, in 1927. This is the schematic diagram of the experimental arrangement. In this diagram, F is a filament which produces the electrons by heating. S1 and S2 are two metallic slits which collimate that electrons very well. A is an anode which accelerates the electrons, and the accelerated electrons ejects from the pinhole. N is a single crystal of nickel on which the emergent electrons incident. The electrons are scattered by this crystal in different directions. C is a Faraday cup which detects the scattered electrons in a particular direction. That means the Faraday cup detects only those electrons which elastically scattered from N and have the same energy. G is a sensitive galvanometer connected with the Faraday cup. S is a circular scale concentric with a point in the crystal. Collector can be moved along the circular scale so that it is able to receive the scattered electrons at all angles between 20 degree and 90 degree, and thus it is possible to measure the scattered intensity in different directions. In this experiment, a beam of electrons incidents normally on the crystal. The incident beam scatters in different directions. In this experiment, this crystal acts as a diffraction grating. As the Faraday cup or collector can be moved along the arc of the circular scale, it receives the scattered beam of electrons, and at a particular position, it receives the electrons having same energy. The galvanometer deflections are taken for different positions of the collector. This deflection gives the measure of intensity of scattered beam of electrons. The observations are repeated for the different accelerating voltages or the accelerating potentials. The variation of the scatter intensity is plotted as a function of the scattering angle theta. This is the angle between the incident beam and the scattered beam. Students, these are the polar graphs. This line indicates the direction of incident beam. These angles indicate the scattering angle. This is the position of the cup with respect to the incident beam. It is shown from the graph that for an accelerating potential 44 volts, a smooth curve is obtained, and the curve remains fairly smooth until the potential reaches at 44 volts. When the accelerating potential becomes 44 volts, a small but distinct hump appears at the scattering angle about 60 degree. The hump increases as accelerating potential is increased, and the angle at which it appears also changes. The hump reaches a maximum at accelerating potential 54 volts and appears at an angle of 50 degree. Further increment of the accelerating potential, the hump decreases and disappears completely above about 86 volts. So students, as you see, the most prominent hump appears at 54 volts at an angle 50 degree. Then the preferential reflection of 54 electron volts electrons at the angle 50 degree, and it is an evidence of diffraction of electrons from the single crystal of nickel. Applying the equation for plane grating, d sin theta equal to n lambda. For the crystal, d equal to 2.15 angstrom, and here n refers to the first order, so n equal to 1, and the scattering angle theta equal to 50 degree. Putting all these value in this equation, we have lambda equal to 1.65 angstrom. On the other hand, from the Broglie equation, we have lambda equal to h by p, p equal to root over 2m e into v. H is the Planck's constant, and it is equal to 6.62 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second. It is the electronic mass, and it is equal to 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg, and electronic charge E equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Putting all these values in this equation, we have lambda equal to 12.26 by root over V. This is the applied voltage or the accelerating voltage. In this case, V equal to 54 volts. So we have lambda equal to 12.26 by root over 54, and that is equal to 1.67 angstrom. So we observe that the wavelength determined from the diffraction measurement agrees with that obtained from the Broglie relation. This provides the justification of the Broglie hypothesis of matter waves. Thus, finally we conclude that the Davison and Janmar experiment is the first experimental evidence of the Broglie hypothesis of matter waves.